So Shaun King, he puts up an article in Newsweek. And in his article, he's talking about Ukraine. But the issue that I have about his article about Ukraine is he wants black folks here in America to support Ukraine. Now let's get to what he's saying and why most of us in black America are going to take an issue with Shaun King. Now, Shaun King has been called many names. I don't have to call him no kind of name. There's no need to. Let's just deal with what he is saying here. Now, some of this stuff he's trying to build up to talk about Ukraine. Don't care, not my issue. But he's saying here, black people will always have an abundance of painful reference points to help them connect and relate to any trauma being experienced around the world. And at first, that's all I saw being relayed across an eclectic spectrum of black America. Then we simultaneously learned something together that virtually none of us knew before. Ukraine had a small but thriving population of at least 20,000 black academics, medical students, professionals, and refugees, and they too were trying to flee the Russian invasion. They say, except instead of being met with open arms and inviting borders, they were manhandled, mistreated, deprioritized, forced off of buses, and routinely told to get to the back of the line. And what he's not adding, they was being told this at gunpoint, and they were being called the N-word as well. Of course, he didn't put that in his article. And he said, and suddenly, he says here, African Americans, he said, found an injustice that was eerily and painfully familiar. He said, in an instant, I saw something happen that truly broke my heart. While I am not sure anybody in the world has deeper reservoir of compassion than African Americans, he said, it was almost like a switch has been flipped. He said, we will show up for everybody, but if we learn that you are a flagrant and overt racist, we do not have time and emotional capacity to fight through our own oppression and care about people that seemingly hate us. He said, and I continue, and as almost the entire world moved heaven and earth to support Ukraine with warmth, urgency, missiles, and money, a much deeper rift was revealed that goes beyond black America. Now, he talks about the Palestinians, and all of that. Syrians, he talks about that. I'm not going into that. Now, I'm going to continue this conversation on black people. Now, he said the painful hypocrisy makes it hard for many good people to have compassion that this crisis truly deserves. He said, and I get it, I truly do. He said, but somehow we must find a way to call out the blatant double standard without completely hardening our hearts to the effects of this war. That's easier said than done, but three present thoughts have motivated me to stay deeply engaged in spite of disturbing images and videos I saw of overt racism and bigotry of African refugees facing while trying to escape. Now, let me stop here before he go into his stuff. Shaun King saw how at first people were like, yeah, it's kind of messed up what's going on in Ukraine. I mean, most people said that. But when we start seeing the images and video come out of African students being told you got to get off of the train or you can't get on the train at all because you're black, or the video that where the black woman was getting on the train, they pushed her off and let the white woman on, or the videos coming out and say, well, they have their pets going to safety while us black people are staying behind. When we seen that, immediately we had the attitude like, oh, shoot, man, they racist, F them. I say, shoot, Putin must be right about what he's talking about. I mean, shoot, look how they acting. It's like he making them right. Now, didn't Putin say something about a denazification? And then we got to see that in real time? Why would we ever support a white supremacist? You doggone right we harden our heart. We have a hardened heart. I have a heart of steel when it comes to white supremacists. My heart is steel, cold steel. I do not have no care in the world what happened to a white supremacist. I don't have a tear to shed. I don't have an F to give when it comes to a white supremacist, because for the past 500 years, white supremacists have been doing nothing but causing misery and pain to black people. And they've been doing this not only to here in America, but they've been doing this throughout the world. So yes, when we seen that, immediately we gonna get that way. Shaun King, you can't make the black folks change that. We are done with all that kumbaya. We are done with this. We are the world. We are done with crying for Massa and Miss Ann. We ain't crying for them no more because we done everything we could as a group of people to try to have some sort of humanity toward these people. And look at how we are rewarded with that. We're rewarded with nothing but N-words, other name calling, abuse, destruction, and death, jail sentences, and all kind of other things that happen to black folk. No, black folks are actually starting to respect ourselves completely. You do not have love for evil people. You have a cold heart of steel. I won't even say stone because stone could be broken. You have a cold heart of steel toward the white supremacists. I have a heart of flesh for black people. I have a heart of flesh for other good people. I really do. But when it comes to them, I have no feelings at all. My people don't have any feelings, and they're continuing to start having these feelings every day. See, Shaun King, the problem I got with you, even just writing this, is that you trying to keep black people enslaved. Okay, and because you will not get any kind of freedom or even just respect for ourselves, loving your natural enemy. And the reason why I say natural enemy is because they have made it so. Ever since we have come into contact with the white supremacists, okay, they have been doing nothing but harm to us. And now we have said that we gave them too much, too long, and now we're going to treat them how they treat us. That's exactly how it's going to be. They don't have no love for us. When something happening to us, do they care? Do they cry? Do they give us some aid? Have they paid us reparations? Have they given us justice for women like Sandra Bland and, women like Corin Gaines and, have they given justice for that? Just to name some two women. They laugh about black people being killed. They joke about it. You remember when Trayvon had passed away, he was not even passed away, but the situation with Zimmerman, and they posted that boy's death photo. And then these white supremacists was making photos called Trayvoning. Do you remember that? Because I remember it like yesterday. And they were posing themselves like Trayvon Martin. This is the things that these people do. Black folks don't do that in their worst day. Even the most militant of the militant black folks don't even do things like that. So Shaun King, you can miss us with this article. I don't know how much they paid you to write this, but you're missing the mark all the way around. Period. This is a new day and new time, Shaun King. We not crying for Massa. We ain't praying for Massa. Not at all. What we saying about the white supremacists right now, Shaun King, is this. God damn the white supremacists to hell. That's what black folks are saying now. Because they deserve every bit of it. We've done enough. And they still haven't got it right with black folk. So continuing what he says here. He says, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is not God, but for me and millions of others, he continues to be a sacred embodiment of courage and tenacity in the face of overt evil, and the words of Dr. King that are close to a religious credo as anything I've have in my life is injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Well, that's a problem. And I'm tired of y'all using Dr. King to try to get black people to be in submission. Let me say something else about Dr. King, Shaun King. Maybe if the white supremacists didn't shoot him and kill him, he would be here today to maybe, instruct us a little bit on some things. Just maybe. But even that great peaceful man that you're talking about, this sacred embodiment of courage and tenacity that you just wrote about, the white supremacists killed him. I'm going to repeat that again. The white supremacists killed him. That peaceful man that y'all say was so peaceful, that was nonviolent, and they still killed him. Do you get it? This is why you can never bring up Dr. King's name. You can't do it. So miss me with bringing up Dr. King. Now, he continues saying, having fought his heart out against injustice and racism in Deep South, Dr. King developed a passion for injustice in New York, then Chicago, then LA, and soon found himself caring deeply and passionate about colonialism and freedom fighting in Africa. In the final months of his life, his popularity tanked. He refused to support the brutal and senseless war in Vietnam, knowing that all the destinies are tied together in ways that we don't fully understand. So had Dr. King not been stolen from us, no. Had Dr. King not be killed by the white supremacists. Make sure you say that. He wasn't stolen. He said he would have continued to fight against the pain and oppression of people all over the globe. This is what he said. Now, he said, secondly, it is my faith that has compelled me to fight for peace, safety, security of refugees, widows, and orphans. Say, if injustice anywhere is a threat to injustice everywhere in my life, quote, he said, my life verse comes from the Bible, oh Lord. In James chapter 1, verse 27, it said, pure and undefiled religion, the sight of our God and Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in distress. He said, I fought against police violence for years because I know it creates widows and orphans, but nothing creates more of them than war. That's why I decided to push through my earnest frustration to continue to help here. And he said, and lastly, while the world gives the necessary support that Ukrainian nationals need, I found my place helping those marginalized Africans, he said, who were mistreated. And he said he's part of a coalition. He said, now, see, let me tell you something. Yes, they did help some Africans get out, and that's good. That's good. I am not against Shaun King for doing that whatsoever. I'm not. If you got connections and resources to get people out, do it. Do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to support that, especially when it comes to our people. But no. See, Shaun King, what about the media? Okay. What about the media saying, well, this isn't some third world country. This is Europe. Well, what about that, Shaun King? It's not even just the people in Ukraine. What about the guy from CBS News? What about him saying, this is supposed to be a civilized country. This is Europeans. What about the other guy that say, this is blonde hair, blue eyed, Europeans? What about that? See, you're not even addressing that. See, the way black folks feel has nothing to do with just one or two videos. We literally saw in real time racism from the Western media, the Ukrainians. Then when the brothers and sisters got in Poland, you saw the racism with them in Poland. It's been racism everywhere. We are not going to be loving an enemy. That's not going to happen. We're not going to do that. We're going to love our community. We're going to help fix our community, our global community, which those brothers and sisters that's in Ukraine, that's part of our global, family, right? But the rest of them, no. Listen, the West is helping them enough. The West that just recently gave them $13 billion of our tax dollars. How much more support do they need? Why are y'all trying to sit up here and get black folks on board with supporting these people? Why? It's not our fight. It's not our problem. Not one black person in America or throughout the world said to fight that. Not one person that really say they support it. We like, it ain't our problem. Because it's not our problem. Let me tell you something. If Massa and Miss Ann break their arm or scuff their feet, it's not our problem. Them days are gone. Well, we say, well, boss, you sick, I'm sick. Them days are gone, bruh. Them days are gone. We gonna care about if someone else in our community is hurt. Now, my brothers and sisters are over there in Ukraine, they trying to get out. I'm feeling for them. If I'm gonna cry at them, I'm gonna cry for them. If I'm gonna be concerned, I'm gonna be concerned about them. And then once they get to safety, then I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm happy again. I'm cool. My people are safe. It's just that simple. It's nothing that y'all could write, Shaun King or any of y'all, to try to get black people. Like, I just don't understand why y'all want black people to support on that. Y'all not gonna get it. So stop. Black people, for the first time in their lives, is starting to respect themselves like other groups. Other groups only care about themselves. They don't care about nobody else. We were the only silly group of people that's running around trying to carry everybody on our shoulders, crying for everybody, praying for everybody, sending money to everybody. And y'all want to use white Jesus, and now you're trying to use Dr. King to sit up there and try to manipulate and deceive black people into crying and weeping behind a group of people that ain't done nothing for black people but use, abuse, and steal from us. It's not happening, sir. It's not happening. We got our own issues and problems that's going on. And let's solve that. We need to take that energy and solve our issues and problems. How can we solve our issues and problems when the Biden administration sent $13 billion that's needed in Black America? We just had a whole podcast talk about how 40% of the homeless population in America is black folk. But you sending $13 billion to Ukraine for something that has nothing to do even with America? My tax dollars and your tax dollars got to go over there. Like it's our problem. I'm no. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Black folks don't have nothing to do with it. Like I said, we have no dog in that fight. We have no dog in that fight whatsoever. So, and I'm going to continue to call any of y'all out that's trying to come up here and try to, well, come on now, because this is like a guilt trip article. Oh, black people, come on. You better than that now. I mean, look, you are the moral compass of America. I mean, shoot. Wouldn't Dr. King be good? He would be against this. And, like, come on now. No. We're not. What has the moral compass of America got us? Where has it got us? Used, abused, stolen from, and killed, jailed. Even other groups have came in here and used us on our moral compass. And what happened to these groups when they got their leg up? What the first thing they say? Oh, y'all lazy. Everybody call black folks lazy after they get their leg up here in America. Everybody. You understand? We done being the moral compass of America. We ain't your moral compass. Go talk to your Catholic priest. Go talk to your preacher. Go talk to white Jesus, whoever you want to go talk to, but leave us alone. We got a lot of problems to solve in this world. Once again, we just coming out of a global pandemic. We had a lot of people lose loved ones here that had nothing to do with a freaking conflict. People still got to recover from that. Are we not going to talk about all those people that passed away? I mean, our family members that passed away from the virus, that don't matter. We're not talking about that. I mean, seriously. No, them days of crying for massa is over. And any of y'all that's going to come write an article like this, we got to call you out. It ain't no hate from me. I'm just telling you Shaun King like it is. Them days are gone, dude. Them days are gone. Because it didn't get us nowhere by being the so-called moral compass of America. All we're going to do is be a moral compass for ourselves. Because that's the only time we can really fix our communities, when we focus on it. We gave our energy to everybody else. And when you give your energy to everybody else, nothing gets solved in your own community. Even in the scriptures, the Lord taught, how you gonna try to correct your brother and get the plank out of his eye when you got a plank in your own eye. Didn't he say get the plank out your eye first? Then you can see clearly enough to get the plank out your brother's eye. So what would that mean to us today? How can I sit up here and help everybody and fix everybody else's community when my community is in shambles? I need to first fix my community first. I need to make sure unification happens in my community. I need to make sure people in the black community aren't homeless. Black people getting off drugs, getting out of these prisons. Black people getting their education, getting their businesses, forming families, raising our kids right. That's what we need to fix first. And globally, we need to fix that first. Then once we fix all that first, then we can see clearly enough to go worry about what happens in Ukraine. We don't see clear enough yet for that. So we need to fix up home first. Period. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the podcast this morning. We greatly appreciate you joining us here. Make sure you click the like button. The like button is the place to help us, spread things in the algorithm. Make sure you subscribe if you're here. We greatly appreciate you subscribing to the channel so you know exactly when we're going to post another podcast. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening and see you next time.